Now, I didn't get a chance to listen to the full Andre Ward media call, which was a few days ago. Right now, if you don't know, it's what the hell is today's date? Today is the 12th, I believe. What is today's date? I know I should know that. I know, man. That's we work from home, man. June the 12th. Ward versus Kovalev is going to be this weekend on June the 17th. This media call took place like last Wednesday, something like that. Thursday. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live, and it is fight week. This time next week, there's going to be a winner. There's either going to be and the new or and still WBO, IBF, WBA Super World 175-pound champion, holding 3 of the most significant belts in the 175-pound division, or in boxing. So if you don't know, to be undisputed champion, that means you're the #1 champion in your division, and the last undisputed champion was in 2005, Jermaine Taylor, when he beat Bernard Hopkins. That means you have the WBC, the green belt, the WBO, the WBA, and the IBF. And if you really, really want to be super undisputed, you'll have that highly coveted and seductive IBO title. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with FightView360.com, and let's talk about the real shit. So what we're going to do is, I haven't listened to this, but I heard that Andre Ward got real defensive when they started to ask him why you're not taking Vada testing. Do I know if he's taking Vada testing? I don't know, but let's find out. I hope you can hear it. The volume may be low, but that's because I got some new equipment and everything. I don't know how to use the shit. All right? So we're going to be going in full high definition 1080p soon. Super crisp audio. We're gonna have, listen, this is nothing. Let's listen.
Because there's been some uncertainty out there and differing views and differing statements about where things stand with you and Vada, the drug testing. Are you enrolled in Vada for this fight, and have you been tested if you are?
I don't know what you're talking about. I actually just saw about it yesterday. I've been enrolled, and it was actually my idea to get enrolled and get both the fighters enrolled, so I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I had just seen some uncertainty online, but so you are, I just wanted to make sure you are enrolled, and have you been tested since you've been enrolled?
Uncertainty from where?
I can't hear you.
Uncertainty from what, where? Where did you get any uncertainty from?
I was just looking around online. It didn't seem to be, well, there didn't seem to be anything specifically and unequivocally stating that you were enrolled. Maybe
no disrespect, but you gotta kind of get the facts before you ask a question like that. I think I've been tested maybe 5 times this camp, and as far as I know, there's no issues with Vada at all. So sometimes the internet can lie,
Oh, which is exactly why I'm asking. All right, and a quick question for Mr. Hunter, if I may, and for Mr. Ward. Is any concerns with the travel? I mean, I know you were in...
Okay, now I remember somebody was asking me, I did a stream last week, and that's true, Like, put it this way, right? I've learned that when it comes to drug testing, you just don't, okay, for one, I'm gonna say this, that Andre Ward did get a little sensitive because, you do have to ask, because there's nothing, as the media reporter said, unequivocally, that says you are involved in Vada. Because normally what fighters would do is, just to get brownie points, I guess, not chocolate brownies, they would show you Vada stopped by and everything like that. They'll show them getting a needle or whatever. And that's a question that fans wanted to know, because I was going to ask that question to Kovalev and them. So it's like, you can't really get sensitive when somebody asks you, especially fans. So you're not going to understand where Andre Ward's coming from, because he's asking, like, well, where did you hear that from? It's like, yo, bro, it's going around that you ain't taking Vada tests. So you got to clear that shit up. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got, like, you can't, like, it was going around, that he wasn't taking Vada tests. So it was like, that's your job, Andre Ward, to clear that shit up. So there's no confusion going forward in the future. So that's good that that's taken care of. But let's talk about the fight. Listen. Kovalev said, and I interviewed him myself personally, he's been saying it over and over again, that he was gassed out after round 5. So you have fans thinking, okay, well, he need to stop drinking the vodka like Virgil Hunter said. Now, I'm not, put it this way, right? You have to understand, like, where I come from. You know, we don't know these people. We're not in their lives. So we can only go by what we've heard and talk about it in speculation. That's what we do. So I've heard before from some sources that, you know, Kovalev, you know, do like to drink vodka. But so what? You know how many boxers be drinking and shit? You know how many boxers be drinking and shit and doing all kind of crazy shit? So it's like this, right? Even if that was the case, for him to do as good as he did, to be gassed out, to say he was gassed out, and he was looking gassed out. You know, to say that he was gassed out, you know, and, and they say he drinking vodka in camp and shit to do the job that he did. But also on Ward's end, Virgil Hunter did say they didn't get to do any road work in camp, in the last camp. So they're saying that this is the best, this is a better camp than they had than the last one, but it should be for both fighters. We know that Kovalev had to work on conditioning and possibly come in lighter, not too much lighter, but a little lighter, you know, in this fight, you know, you know, be able to sustain, you know, longer and not let Ward control the second half of the fight, but also factor in that knockdown. Now remember, for those who don't know, I had Andre Ward winning the first fight, but I feel as though my argument is sound. Now, there are people that are saying stuff like, this is a disgusting robbery, Kovalev should have won. No, this was a very, very, very close fight. And to briefly explain, you have to understand how judging in boxing works. There's no real set criteria. You have 3 different judges. These 3 different judges may look for 3 different things. You may have a judge that may like that sweet science stuff and be like, oh, you know, those punches wasn't really landing. You know, they was landing on the arms and on the shoulders, but they wasn't really connecting. You may have another judge that's judging that same fight that say, oh, that aggressiveness. Oh, he's fucking him up in there. You see what I'm saying? You may have that judge in the middle that's looking like, yo, you know, Andre Ward is really starting to go to the body. You see what I'm saying? So depending on what you were looking for, just like Max Kellerman said, and I'm not using him as a source because sometimes we all boxing fans. You know, whether you work in boxing or not. If you watch as much boxing as I do, and we all watch this much boxing. So it's like, I don't consider people like that to be above us what we do on YouTube because we're all watching the same shit. So it's we all have the same opinion. I mean, all of our opinions are valid if you give me if you understand what I'm saying, especially if you're not being biased. But to talk about what Andre Ward said after the end of the first fight, he said, listen, if you gave Andre Ward the fight, then you had to give Andre Ward all the possible rounds that Andre Ward could have won. I watched the fight probably maybe 20, 30 times. I remember that night after the fight went off, after I did my videos, I went on Facebook, got in trouble on Facebook because we did a live film study with like, there was like 40, 50 people. And then another one after with like 75 people. And then more after. So we was watching that fight for like, you know, 2 days. And I actually wrote my scorecard down on why I feel Andre Ward won. But that's my opinion. But here's the thing. I can see how you had I can see how you had Kovalev winning. That's the type of boxing fan I am. I can see how you had Kovalev winning because I'm thinking, okay, I can understand how a judge, you know, or a boxing fan may go for what Kovalev was doing, especially with the cleaner punches. But in this fight, I'm going with Andre Ward, but I'm not confident. Look at the fact that Kovalev's mad. He's pissed. His English, he's so pissed, his English got better. However, there are fans that have said, well, you know, because he's angry, it's going to be his downfall. Also factor in how that knockdown played in. What if Kovalev would have hit him with the clean and not the fucking mitten, the you know, part? Would Andre Ward have gotten up? Would he have been the same? You see what I'm saying? Also, what if the knockdown never happened? Think about your cards then. So, what game plan is Andre Ward going to use? Listen, we can say what we want about who we think is going to win this fight and everything. This is a big, meaningful fight, and I do have to express my frustrations with Andre Ward and his team for not doing the HBO face-off of Max Kellerman. I can understand how he feels about Kovalev as far as that that tweet Kovalev put out that was not him. He retweeted some shit that was funny to him. But word was going around that he created this shit. No, that shit was created on Instagram first. So I can understand how Team Ward and all them feel like we don't want to be the same room with him. But going forward 5, 10, 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line, that HBO face-off would have been some valuable historic footage, you know, content for a fight of this magnitude. You see what I'm saying? So looking at it historically for like going forward in the future, it's like, damn, man, you ain't do the fucking face-off? Because you know how you watch like that old Muhammad Ali stuff from when he was training for, you know, for Foreman and all that? You know how you be watching like that whole the whole beef between Tyson and Green. Like that type of stuff going forward in the future. You know, every now and then, I love going to watch that HBO Face Off with Cotto doing that freak shit. I'd be like, ugh, just to look at it, like, fuck, goddamn Cotto, ugh. You know? Or to go watch the HBO Face Off with Sergio Martinez and Chavez Jr. How Sergio Martinez was just on some goon shit, like, yo, when I see him beat you the fuck up, you know? That's some valuable content. So, but at the same time, it's over. One HBO 24/7, that was the best HBO 24/7 I've seen in a long ass time, you know, because you have fighters that really do have animosity. We're 1 week away. This is going to be this fight week is going to be crazy. There's a lot of fight week events. We're going to be covering a good portion of those fight week events. We're not going to the fight, but we're going to be covering a good portion of those fight week events. And yo, shit is going to be lit. Oh, and if you want to hear the rest of the media call, the full media call, I have both of them now on the channel. They are worth the listen. So I'm not saying just go, you know, just have them play. I'm talking about like when you get time, you know, you need to listen. You know, Kovalev was talking some shit. And then also you get to get the answers to what happened with the John David Jackson situation on if he was trying to jump camp or not. You know, I'm going to leave you with that cliffhanger. If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. You got to go listen to you got to listen to the media call. So, in TstreeT Controversy, this is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.